A backyard full of smoke, cheap beer, and family. Your brother taps his bottle with a knife and roasts you in front of everybody. Parents chuckle. Cousins smirk. You smile, raise your red Solo cup, and say, to the guy whose mortgage I just stopped paying. The grill keeps hissing, but every other sound on earth dies. That dead quiet moment. Pure gold. My name's Cole Ramsey. 31. Middle relief arm who's spent a decade praying for a phone to ring while living out of a carry-on. I'm the middle kid, the one who grew up hauling ice bags and everybody else's baggage. If you've ever napped on a charter bus with your arm in a sleeve and your stomach in knots, you already know my resume. I'm the guy who beats the grounds crew to the park. Bullpen phone rings, I'm already loose. Need 6 outs on 0 notice. I'll empty the tank until my elbow screams. My brother Landon calls my job professional gambling with better lighting. Mom and dad see baseball the way they see fantasy football, fun until somebody actually cashes a check. I'm the quiet one who picks up the dinner check without making a speech. The day everything snapped started ordinary. Sunday cookout at the folks' place outside Charlotte. Folding tables, checkered plastic cloths, dad's ancient Bluetooth speaker coughing up Skynyrd. Mom lined up her sides like she was defending a title. Potato salad, slaw, that 7-layer casserole she swears is idiot-proof even though it always separates like oil and water. Cousins running wild, sidewalk chalk. A plastic bat cracked in half under the azaleas. I told myself I'd show face, grill a burger, sign a couple Little League hats, and bounce. Then Landon stood up, clinked his bottle with a plastic fork, and grinned like he'd rehearsed in the mirror. Here's to the guy who rolls in late, always needs a loan, and still acts like he's the main character. Soft laughter rippled, the kind that's been workshopped at 100 family gatherings. Mom hid her smile behind her hand like it sneaked up on her. Dad suddenly found something fascinating on the Weber. My little sister Harper stared at her plate like the coleslaw was writing her future. Heat from the grill crawled up my neck. I remembered the breathing trick they drill into relievers. Short inhale, longer exhale. Slow the pulse or it'll race you off the cliff. I tapped my cup with one finger, voice cold enough to frost the rim. And to the guy who just lost the silent partner keeping his house out of foreclosure. Stillness hit the yard like a power outage. A kid on the swing froze midair, chains creaked once and gave up. Somewhere down the block, a Labrador shook his tags and even that sounded loud. Mom's smile dropped straight to the patio. Dad flipped a burger that was already perfect. Landon tilted his head, smirk tightening into something smaller. I let the quiet sit there, heavy as catcher's gear, then blow past like tunnel wind. Baseball looks sexy from the cheap seats. It isn't. Its 3 a.m. bus rides to cities where the stadium lights buzz like dying flies. Its bullpen benches sticky with dip spit and pine tar. It's waiting for your name on a whiteboard while pretending your entire worth isn't a column of numbers some intern updates. I got drafted out of a JUCO in nowhere, Georgia. Late rounds, no bonus worth mentioning. I wasn't the flamethrower with a billboard future. I was the guy who could eat innings when the starter imploded. I climbed ugly. Winter ball in Hermosillo. Indie leagues in Kansas heat. Shattered haymate bone. One September call-up that lasted 11 days. Down, up, down again, that ride. Through every step I wired money home. Not bragging money, just when the text came in all caps, WE need. Harper's nursing school. Mom bawling because dad's knee surgery deductible laughed at their savings. Landon's sure thing ventures that always needed one more bridge loan. They called me blessed. God gave you that arm, baby. He didn't give the bank the same patience. Landon's asks were the slickest. Quick float till the investor check clears, bro. Missed payroll, but I'll cut you in on equity. I'd hit send and call it investing in blood. I kept a running note titled IOUs that looked like a calendar of holidays nobody ever celebrated. When that first big league paycheck hit, I sat in the rental car under a buzzing parking lot light and cried like a rookie. I could finally see daylight. 2 months later, I was buying Harper's textbooks, covering Dad's out-of-pocket, and spotting Landon 5 figures he called runway. I kept saying yes because that's the family pitch I'd always swung at. Baseball teaches you to compartmentalize or die, one batter at a time. Off the field it was the same. Open the banking app, type the amount, hit confirm before the guilt slid into the batter's box. I told myself it was temporary. When Landon's ship came in, when Dad healed, when Mom's hours stabilized, when Harper graduated, then the tide would turn. The tide turned, just not my way. Harper pinned her RN badge. Group chat exploded with stethoscope emojis. I sent a heart and meant it. She DM'd me private. I'm paying you back. Not all at once, but watch. Then Landon threw an engagement party with floral arrangements that needed their own security detail. When the bill landed, he did the wallet pat-down routine and whispered, "You got this, right?" I paid. Again. After that, the asks stopped pretending to be emergencies. They became entitlements. Cole, you'll cover the venue deposit. Cole, just co-sign its paperwork. Cole, titles in your name till we flip the truck. I built a spreadsheet because pitchers love data. Exit velocity, spin, launch angle, now add money home. It read like a horror novel. Then I logged into the joint rainy day account I'd opened with Dad for house stuff and saw red numbers I didn't create. Memo line, mortgage Landon. Signature line, my name, written like a drunk lefty tried to fake it. I stared until the screen blurred. Called the bank, froze everything, requested paperwork and said nothing. Threw into a net until my arm went numb. Breathe in, breathe out, long exhale. Then the cookout invite dropped in the family chat with more fireworks emojis than a small-town 4th of July. I almost ghosted. Then I looked at the forged signature again and RSVP'd yes. Landon clinked his bottle. I answered, silence did the rest. Mom tried first. Cole, don't air laundry in the yard. Laundry, I said. You mean the account I funded that paid Landon's house note 3 straight months without my okay? Dad killed the grill like he could kill the topic. Son, timing. Timing, I repeated. Like how the auto draft hits the 15th at 9:01 am right when the rate adjusts. Like how my signature suddenly grew a new loop. Nobody breathed. Landon forced a laugh. Drama king. It was temporary. Temporary fraud? I asked. The word fraud landed like a 98 mph fastball up and in. Mom went soft Sharpie. We're family. What one has, we all have. I've had, I said. Y'all been having me. Dad set the spatula down like it weighed 40 pounds. We always planned to pay you back. Name the date, I said. He didn't. Harper stood, 5 foot nothing of pure steel touched my arm. Cole. They're not ready to hear it. Today they are, I said, voice level, almost gentle. I opened the notes app and read the tally out loud. $142,300 since rookie ball. A cousin's fork hit the deck. I listed Harper's tuition. She's paid back every month she could. Dad's surgery, tax liens, Landon's bridge loans that turned into seasons, and finally the $6,750 stolen with my forged name. Landon threw his hands up. So you're the saint now? Want a statue? No, I said. I want boundaries, Mom scoffed. Don't throw counselor words at your own blood. I set my cup down so the shake would stop. The bank, the cosigns, the transfers done. The joint account closed today. Dad's voice dropped to the register he used when I was 10 and broke a window. You don't speak to me like that on my grass. I'm speaking to you like a man whose name you let someone steal. Landon tried the knockout punch. Big leaguer thinks he's above us. Who drove you to lessons? Who paid for private coaching when we had nothing? You did, I said. And I owe love, time, respect. I don't owe felony-level identity theft. Mom actually said, apologize to your brother for embarrassing him. I looked Landon dead on. I'll apologize the day you hand me a repayment plan instead of another pitch deck. His jaw clicked. Best sound of the afternoon after the silence. He tried one last swing. Cut us off then. See how lonely that feels when you blow out your arm and need family. Already ran that experiment, I said. Feels like oxygen. I grabbed my keys, walked past chalk bases and confused kids, and left the smell of cooling coals behind me. The blowback came fast. Group chat melted down. Private texts ricocheted from guilt to rage to bargaining. Landon sent a screenshot of their house on Zillow captioned, "Thanks, hero." I turned my phone face down and drove to the empty high school field behind the Harris Teeter. Threw until the catcher's mitt pop was the only voice I trusted. That night I fired off 3 emails. 1 bank fraud department, full documentation, account frozen. 2 dads, subject line, account terminated. Do not attempt access. 1 sentence about counsel if he tried. 3 Landon, 1 line, never use my name again. Calendar invite attached for my meeting with the attorney. Then I slept. Fitful, but without the usual 3 a.m. panic about tomorrow's transfer. Morning brought Mom on my doorstep holding Tupperware like a shield. Open up, Cole. This is insane. Not a good time, Mom. We don't do ultimatums in this family. We do when y'all forge my signature. She sat on the bench outside my door. We talked through the crack. I didn't fix it for her. I handed her a printout. hardship programs, forbearance forms, credit counselor numbers. She looked at it like I'd handed her Sanskrit. "I'm not too proud to ask for help," I said. "I'm just done asking me." She left without the hug. That stung worse than any comebacker. Harper called that night. "I'm out. Found an apartment 5 minutes from the hospital. Be my emergency contact, not my lender." "Yes" came out so fast we both cracked up. The family chat went graveyard quiet. I lifted, threw a perfect bullpen, felt the slider bite like it had teeth. On the way home, Landon called. I answered because sometimes you catch the fastball barehanded just to prove you still can. "You destroyed me," he spat. "Happy now." "You destroyed you," I said. "I'm just no longer volunteering to catch the pieces." He hung up. A week later, Dad texted 2 words, "I'm sorry." Attached was the bank letter admitting misuse, his real signature next to my printed name, untouched for once. I waited an hour, then replied, "Thank you, next time ask." Mom switched to handwritten letters. Same guilt, fancier stationery. One included her casserole recipe with "You'll want this someday" in loopy ink. I kept every letter, answered none. 2 weeks later, we left on a road trip. In a visiting bullpen that smelled like fresh paint and possibility, my skipper sat down. "Heard you got heavy stuff off field. Working through it. Good. Next call I make is about your head, not your arm. You in?" I laughed for the first time in weeks. Learning how skip. That night I came in with the bases drunk and the tying run on deck. Threw a slider that started at the letters and died in the dirt. Struck him out looking. Phone buzzed after the game. "Harper, pick of her new key with MY Place." "Mom," photo of an empty casserole dish, caption "Made IT right" in Sharpie. "No sorry, just the loop." I stared at the ceiling of a Marriott and felt 19 again. Nothing to lose, everything to throw. There's a diner near the ballpark that smells like bacon and athletic tape. Mornings after homestands, I sit with ice on my shoulder and a notebook that's been on more buses than most players. Today I write, "Boundaries are dull until they keep you alive." I used to think love meant yes to every 2 a.m. SOS. I know better now. Love can be the no that saves everybody. Harper still gets random Venmos from me, but they're gifts, not rent. She pays back more than she keeps because that's who she is. Dad shows up to weekday matinees, sits in the sun, texts me about sequencing instead of money. 4 words from him now mean more than paragraphs used to. Mom calls less. When she does, it's clumsy, like we're learning a new language, one awkward sentence at a time. She hasn't said sorry. She stopped signing my name. That's its own apology. Landon clocks in at a logistics company, hates the fluorescent lights, brags about 2 straight on-time payments like it's a no-hitter. He won't ever repay every dime. I decided that debt bought me a very expensive education. The tuition was worth the degree in self-respect. Family chat still lives, weather updates, prayer requests, baby pictures. When someone cracks a baller joke, I type "boundaries still standing" and a baseball emoji. Thread moves on. I quit apologizing for my paycheck, my schedule, my no. I ice my arm, call my sister, send mom a pic of the casserole I finally nailed without the weird layer separation. She sends back a heart. Good enough. When I replay that cookout, the clink, the rehearsed laugh, the hush after my line, I don't feel anger anymore. I feel clean. I was the family's walking ATM with a fastball. I became a man who protects his name the way he protects a 1-run lead in the 9th. So here's the box score. Brother tried to bury me in front of the whole lineup. I threw the pitch I wanted, not the one they called from the dugout. The silence afterward wasn't just gorgeous. It was the first clean inning of the rest of my life. I'm Cole Ramsey. I pitch, I show up early. I say no when I need to. And for the first time, I'm playing for a team that lets me keep what I earn, starting with my own name. In, out, long exhale. Then I go deal.